All right. Welcome to the I don't know, is this the sixth episode or of the 1080C podcast? Um, I'm Trevor Valentine. Um,
I'm Sophie Ryan.
Oh, I'm Amon Parson.
And I'm Anthony Horton.
and we're back, and we're going to talk about, if my background is any indicator, we're going to be talking about monster movies. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, favorites, guilty pleasures, just the whole shebang. There's no real format to the show, as most of our longtime fans and viewers know. So we're just going to open the table to the discussion. I guess we can start with the newest monster movie, or the newest addition to the monster movie cinematic universe, with Godzilla versus Kong. Anybody else see it within the past week?
Yeah, I did. um, what were your thoughts on it? I guess before I give mine.
I mean, it was fun. That's pretty much.
I thought that I see what this like company has a really good job of doing is making like really bad movies with plot, but making really cool monster movies. And that's really all I want. That all I want is two monsters fighting each other. I really don't care about the humans because like I've got a million movies with humans. I don't got a million monster fighting movies. That's what made Pacific Rim so cool because it was like the first like this is what special effects can do. This is what CGI can do now. Like we can make big monsters fight, and they've been slowly building this like kaiju, the KCU, the kaiju universe or kaiju cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And like, if you would have told me 6 years ago that I would have been hyped about Gorilla versus Kong, I would have looked at you and laughed. Cause like I didn't like when Godzilla first came out, I thought like it like basically redefined the whole genre of just well, not redefined, but like showed with the technology that we have today, like what can be done with it and like how far it's come. And so
Are you talking about Skull Island?
I'm talking about the first Godzilla, actually.
The one
Okay.
The first
2014.
yeah. Like
Whoa. Shit, I forgot about that one.
With,
exactly. But like it was really well done and like the just the effects on everything was incredible. The plot non-existent. I couldn't tell you what the plot was of Godzilla, but all I know is that it looked cool, and I really think that's all they really like. That's what I would say it really excelled in was looking really cool and like looking really real. Like it looked like they just had a giant monkey out there and a giant lizard. Like none of the effects looked bad. Like in my that I saw on my first go. I haven't watched it through again, but nothing looked really bad. Like it all looked really nice.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, see, this is a real throwback. Godzilla 2014. The only reason I remember that movie, I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is in it. I like him. He's cool. And I remember watching that on Charter Cable Box on demand with my parents back in 2014. It's the only reason I remember that movie. But it did have some cool effects. Like all these movies have really good effects. That's honestly all I'm watching it for. My only like complaint is like I feel like in Godzilla vs. Kong, like they try to make you care, like they try to create like a little surrogate family.
Oh yeah.
And they try to make you care about them, and I don't give about anybody who's not Godzilla or King Kong in this movie. So like it was cool though. Like I had fun. It's kind of just like a movie you can just like, you know, turn your brain off and watch. So
yeah, for sure.
So I definitely think that it's basically like what both of you were saying. It was very fun, right? It was definitely a fun movie. I definitely feel like I missed half of it. Like there were moments I was watching it and it like you'd have all the melodrama happening with all like the humans, and I would just tune out because it just was the absolute worst it's ever been. Like, you know, in terms of the human like subplot, right? But the action was pretty awesome and the locations were awesome too.
Oh yeah.
and definitely.
Godzilla was so beautiful and also strangely very adorable. Like his like design is just kind of like little T-Rex arms. I don't know, it's cute. But no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I heard that they did not kiss, and I'm pretty upset by that one.
They got so close though. No
They got
spoiler.
close.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler. They got so like actually in like too close for my comfort.
Yeah.
They were playing chicken, and they both chickened out.
I'm so.
Pretty much.
It's funny though. It was funny.
You know, the Martha moment happened, and
Oh
it ruined
God.
things between them.
I hate that. Superman versus Batman is not really a monster movie, but it kind of takes the exact same formula, which is like we're gonna put two really cool people against each other, and then at the end we're gonna make them fight a big bad, and then they're gonna whoop up on them.
I remember before the movie came out, the director was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a definitive winner, guys."
Technically, he wasn't wrong. Okay,
No spoilers.
Okay.
I
It
have
was
not
lame.
seen it yet, and I do actually want to see it.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. Okay,
Thank you.
well,
We'll lay off
Thank
that.
you.
okay,
But
sure.
can we at least tell you who they come together and fight, or do?
I think so. I think it's very predictable how you assume the movie's gonna go. Like, I think that's what you were about to touch on. Like before it came
Yeah.
out.
I
when saw the
actually
word-
have not even. I haven't even seen a trailer.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Well, we'll kind of skim around it, but all I'll say is that I think that specific thing that you're referring to, Trevor, I think that's actually the one thing that caught me slightly off guard, even though I guess also if you're like a fan of Godzilla, like if you've seen the other ones, that's also predictable. But I thought it was probably one of the coolest reveals they've done. It certainly blew Batman v Superman's twist out of the water. Certainly, for sure. You know.
But yeah, like it was fun. Like I had a lot of fun watching it. It's a very good movie to watch with other people. I feel like I wish the theaters were open right now.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could just go in there and just.
That would have been nice because it's like you get like the people cheering in the theater, and it makes like the experience a lot more enjoyable.
For sure.
Like when I watched it, so I watched it on HBO Max with my roommate, and no, with my roommate, and it was just a bunch. It was just us. Sorry, it was just us screaming. It was
a throwback. I'm sorry.
Sorry. It was us just screaming at the TV. Like we wouldn't be able to do that at the movie theater. And also, I feel like I'm not forced to pay attention to the movie as well, which also is just something that's just coming with the times I'm in right now. But like, if you're gonna brag that like this is a movie that deserves to be in theaters, you at least gotta hold my attention there. Like I've never realized how many movies I've actually sat through the bad parts just because I'm in a movie theater. I just don't feel like getting up and.
That's a really good observation.
Because now with Godzilla, when I'm watching films now that are from film, like famous film companies, now that I just don't have any incentive, you better show me something interesting.
You just tune out. Yeah, wow. Okay. You actually just gave me a revelation because I think since COVID started, I'm sure everyone's been like binging because there's been several like TV shows that have come out so forth.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I've been having like that issue paying attention too. And it's kind of interesting to have that connection. That's a really good observation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'm going to say that the only movie that I have watched all the way through without interruptions since COVID started is Promising Young Woman. And
See that.
you do. It's very good. But other than that.
So you've had that same thing then, like
like the only content that I've been consuming consistently and without interruption is like YouTube deep dives, and that's like it. That's all I got.
Same.
Feel that.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Like at least for me, at least since COVID has started, what I've had to start doing, because I've noticed myself when COVID first started, like I was watching like a whole bunch, but I wasn't paying attention the whole way. So what I've had to start doing is just leaving my phone in my room so I can actually focus for once and have an attention span. It's very hard sometimes because sometimes movies are boring and I'm just like, yo. But it depends on how long the movie is. Like, for example, the Justice League cut, I was I'm straight live tweeting that. I don't give a It's 4 hours. I'm not sitting there zoned in for 4 hours.
We had to take a break. Like me and my friends, when we were watching, we had to like stop it halfway through. Like we stopped it at like a part we thought we could stop it at. And we're like, we stopped 2 hours to go. Like, we gotta get some food or something, dog.
That's funny. No, that's so funny that you actually have to do like a ritual to put your phone in another room. That's basically what people have to do like when working from home, right? It's like okay, this is my workspace, this is my sleep space, this is my game space. Like it's funny. I know that like that struggle though. I weirdly get through Justice League though. Go ahead.
I would like to turn the dialogue back
to
movies real quick. With the broad question of what do we define monster movies as? Can it just be like any, like, because like, are we talking like Jaws? Are we talking like, is Jaws a monster movie? Is really what I want to know, because I could go off on some Jaws shit right now.
I think technically no, and that's because aren't shark movies, that's a genre, right? Like
it depends, because there are sci-fi shark movies and then there are just like shark movies and horror shark movies, I guess.
I think
but Jaws isn't a horror movie.
It's kind of blurs the lines between the two, because the main focus of the movie is on the shark. I mean, there's like characters and whatnot that are there, but they're all just trying to dealing with the situation basically, which I think is which I think is
and the threat of the shark is almost similar to monster movies. Like it's like a larger than life threat, even though it's like an omnipresent force. Basically,
I would say
I can lean towards it. Sure.
I would say to define a monster movie, because like, have you seen Skull Island, Sophie?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so like, Skull Island's only I would say it's barely only a monster movie, in the sense that like Kong is a big giant monkey and they got lizards running around. That's it.
Right, but it's mostly like centered on the.
But I would say that Jaws is kind of a monster movie, because you just have this creature that is like wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
They kind of have to. I'm funny enough, I've never actually seen Jaws, but I don't know how they take out the shark.
Okay.
Come on. You and I, Jaws movie marathon. I have a drinking game that goes with Jaws. Yes.
There's like 4.
And
what, does the mom come back or something?
I think the second one is the mom coming back. Spoilers if you haven't seen Jaws in like the last 30 years that it's been out. The second one is the mother or the baby. And then the third one is that they take a baby shark into an aquarium. The third one, Jaws 3D, definitely the worst, because it was like the 80s or 90s and they were like experimenting with 3D for the first time. But I watched that as a child, and that is where my fear of aquariums comes from, because there's this scene where this big ass shark breaks into this underwater aquarium, and I cannot go in aquariums because of that.
True. Okay.
Is Alien versus Predator a monster movie?
Ooh. Yes.
Because I feel like
Wait 1 second. I just want to clarify one thing, because this is a whole thing, right? AVP is like a whole topic. But if Jaws is a monster movie, I mean, yeah, sure. But Sharknado is not.
No.
Right?
No.
Cool.
Sharknado is sci-fi.
Cool. Sweet.
Right. I won't even argue for that.
Continue with your AVP point.
But Alien versus Predator, I think I remember seeing the first one when I was like a kid.
AVP is, but Predator and like Alien, no.
Ooh.
So standalone, no, but together, yes.
Right, because Predator and Alien focus
on the people, yeah,
than the monster, but AVP is like the fight between the two.
Yeah.
And so I think that
I can get with that.
Okay, my question is, and this is gonna probably segue us out of the AVP topic, but if there's anything else you want to add about that film, go for it now, I guess.
No, I just think it's interesting that Sophie said that like whatever the film was focusing on is what like defines it.
That was what I was
Like
gonna talk about.
if we were watching it from the aliens' perspective, like if we're watching it from the aliens' perspective, like if we're just basically watching Godzilla or like any type of like a new monster movie to come out, like Godzilla or King Kong, we see almost from their perspective. I would say it wouldn't be a monster movie if we never saw their perspective, and the only time we saw Godzilla or Kong is when like a human saw them, but we see them underwater and like in their own habitats and in their own space all the time. And then in Alien versus Predator, the aliens and the predators aren't even really worried about the humans; they're just worried about each other.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like they're not even concerned. And I guess that's what makes, in my opinion, that's what makes more Alien versus Predator a monster movie, because it's like you just have these two creatures that have nothing or want nothing to do with humans. They just hate each other. It's the same thing in Kong versus Godzilla. Even though you haven't seen it, Sophie, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the title. You just got two giant dangerous creatures, and humans just don't know how to control them. And it's just what would happen if one of them just it'd be like if dinosaurs existed today, you know?
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Monster movies.
Sure. Okay.
See, we're getting to see you now. You're just starting to just if it has a creature in it, then you're calling it a monster movie. Like,
not necessarily. I see Sophie's point because applying that same constraint that you just did about. Go ahead. Sorry, Trevor.
Like Jurassic Park, the main focus is on the island. Like the characters are there and they're kind of like dealing with the havoc. But I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit too like you. That is a hard one to think about. Like,
I think the reason it's so difficult is because we are like stretching it, and I think like. Ultimately, that's okay, but there's a reason subgenres exist, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because in the most recent Jurassic World, they have that big showdown between the two
dinosaurs.
Right? And that's like the whole selling point of the movie. I swear to God, if you eat my straw, I will beat you up. But and that's like one of the like main things that they wanted to like sell for that one. But like, and also in the first one they bring back the T-Rex and there's that whole big dinosaur showdown in the first Jurassic World too.
I haven't seen Jurassic World.
It's
good.
It's bad.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's just like a bad rehash of the first movie. Basically,
ignorance is bliss, right? So
yeah. I mean, like, I enjoyed them because like I love like the Jurassic Park series. It's like the same with Jaws. Like I just grew up watching it, so like I'm always gonna like
that's kind of how I am with like Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones slaps, and I will defend that.
It does.
We're not debating whether Indiana
we're not talking about Indiana Jones right now. I had another thought.
Is Indiana Jones a monsters movie? Huh? I'm sorry.
The Mummy.
The Mummy is an action movie.
I feel like that's closer to like.
So here's the thing. Let's just boil this down really quick with like some little bullet points, right? What defines?
Do you want me to whip out the whiteboard?
Do it. Wait, how much of a pain in the ass is it to do that?
I mean, it's like right behind. But if I leave my desk, LJ is going to my straw.
Yep.
You gotta protect your straw. That's crazy.
OJ versus Straw on HBO Max.
She has one right here.
It's a new monster movie
right
coming
here.
at you. Well, Sophie's in a monster movie.
Yeah, my life is a monster movie.
Okay, but yeah, seriously though, like what defines a monster movie? Bullet point style.
You have to have a monster.
Cool.
But what
At least
what defines a monster? Is it something alien greater? Is a monster technically in this instance something greater than like? It doesn't have to be gigantic, but something that's like
something more dangerous to human life than humans.
Cool.
Like an
right, because you can't put the size on that because which one is that an AVP that's smaller? It's the alien, right?
The face huggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
They're
saying in
smaller
any
than us.
sense, like it should just be something that has like a lethal capability that humans just can't defend against.
Sure.
Right, like a catastrophic effect.
I think another bullet point would be it's less about the people, like
More
like
about the
there's
situation.
yeah, it's more about the situation versus the people, basically.
I have an extension on that bullet point to argue against it, but let's keep going first.
Right, because like the Kong movies kind of also like take a turn to focus on like the girl and like
Yeah.
Also, Cloverfield springs to mind if you've seen that.
Oh shit.
That's a very interesting one, right? You can't sit there and say Cloverfield's not a monster movie.
I
Yeah,
know,
it is.
and that's
But
why it's so
the
frustrating.
reason Cloverfield's so interesting is it takes everything that we've just been talking about with what defines a monster movie, has the cliche large as hell creature, like alien creature destruction, all that stuff, but just flips it, right? And so it's like, oh no.
here's my fun fact. I've actually never seen any of those movies.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You need
Cloverfield
to.
and 10
A lot of
Cloverfield
people-
Lane are good.
A lot of people Cloverfield. I think honestly, Cloverfield inspired me to be a filmmaker. So
I have heard very good things about them. I just never got around to watching them.
Don't watch the Cloverfield Paradox. It's not good.
yeah, I've heard that's bad.
That's the one
Why?
that Netflix did, right?
The hostage one?
No, 10 Cloverfield Lane is actually good. It's
That's the
really
hostage
great.
No,
right?
it's
Yeah.
technically 10 Cloverfield Lane's technically like I mean it's connected to Cloverfield, I guess.
Yeah, like they share a
Yeah.
universe, but it's not really
It's not the
anything
same
in
thing.
common.
really a sequel. Yeah.
I have a very quick question that I think might make you all very angry.
What
Sure.
is your question?
Is the Blair Witch Project a
No.
monster movie? Why not?
Because it is a found footage horror film.
Facts.
But it focuses on a situation.
Yeah, but all films
And
focus on a
tons.
situation, right? And
Okay,
all
so
films-
what defines like the situation that makes it a monster movie? Is this the
I
monster?
think it comes down to the scale. It doesn't have to necessarily be large. The creature doesn't have to be large. I think what I mean by scale is the threat.
Yes, exactly.
The actual like the threat itself. The
It
scale
can't just
needs
be
to
like a few people. It has to be like
yeah, it has to
multiple
affect
groups and
everything.
multiple people.
An entire species, the
Yeah.
human race, the world.
And that doesn't mean that in the movie it actually has to target that many people, but it
Yeah.
poses a threat to
The
that many
threat,
people.
yeah.
Are you telling me that we're not acknowledging the second Blair Witch, in which more people
I never
also get
watched
killed
that.
by them?
How have
You
you seen the
shouldn't.
Blair Witch 2 but
There's
not
2?
Cloverfield?
Okay, because one of the creators that I used to watch on YouTube actually stars in the second Blair Witch, and yeah, and it's a
Oh.
terrible movie, and he acknowledges that it's a terrible movie, and it's just funny.
That's
There's
kind of
a-
like
there's
this is off topic. That's kind of like Donnie Darko 2 with Mila Kunis.
That
I've never seen that,
That
and I'm not
exists?
going to.
What
Yes.
That's a good thought right there.
that's a great topic that isn't here.
Oh,
Donnie Darko.
What?
I've actually, funny
I-
enough, I've never seen Donnie Darko before.
I have not.
You're
in a long
missing out.
time. Why do you think it's a monster movie? I know there is like an entity within it, but it's not really a
Right.
monster, right? It's
Well, what defines a monster? Because this is a
Well,
catastrophic event that
oh,
Donnie
wait.
is preventing.
right. That's right.
It's a life
Yeah,
or death.
It's like
The
an
world will.
avoidance of like
is
Right.
Donnie
apocalypse, right?
Darko a monster
Donnie
movie?
Darko is a monster movie.
Okay, hold on. Let's just pump the brakes really quick. We never finished our bullets. 1, okay. 2, yes, scale is important in a monster movie. It's also important to have a monster, big or small, right? And I mean that in size proportion, right? As long as the threat the monster is bringing is
So
big, right?
Does it have to be like an actual like? I would like to
No,
think.
I don't think so, because I think it could be concepts.
Our monster.
Right, because if we're looking at this from a literature standpoint, don't even squint at me like that. Because technically we could be creating something that is catastrophic from, if the movie is being told through a certain perspective, which all movies
Sure.
are, then it could look like that something is catastrophic on a scale for multiple people, but instead is just this thing that's occurring through one person's perspective, which is why Donnie Darko could work, because there's that whole theory that it's like in his head.
I can see where you're coming from. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to argue against you. I don't like your point, but I'll accept it. Sure.
I don't need you to like my point.
You know what that just made me think of?
If
we're getting into like large scale, okay, is Contagion a monster movie?
Yes.
No, okay. See, no. Listen. Okay, so so I've been trying to compare all the monster movies we've been talking about to each other, and like what makes them all the same, like what makes them all fit in the monster movie category, and it's like in Godzilla and versus Kong, they're just animals fighting. Like there's no real like they don't have a reason behind it. In Alien versus Predator, they're just biologically just enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we just starting to say that any antagonist that has crazy powers to kill a bunch of people are monster movies?
No,
or if it has some sort of...
I don't think so. I think it has to be like...
It's just threat perspective, right?
Right.
I would say that there's like monster movies and there's like monster fighting movies. Like there are movies you have that have monsters.
There are subgenres of monsters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it follows is I guess a monster movie because it has a creature that can just randomly kill you if it touches you. And it can just transform into any human. Yeah, I know.
No, it's not. It is a
you see, but you're discounting the horror genre as monster movies because it's subgenres.
It's not necessarily I'm discounting horror specifically. I'm discounting because I feel like It Follows specifically is like that's like spiritual. That's like a whole thing. Paranormal horror is what that is, right? I don't know. Maybe
it could be.
I'm just a mere mortal.
Okay, I completely forgot the bullet points. Could someone remind me?
So a creature, regardless of size, a threat that is broad and large in scale, not size, but in terms of its threat level.
I think number 2 is like it doesn't focus on specifically like one or two or a group of characters. It focuses on people like reacting to the situation, basically.
Whatever the threat is, it affects a big thing, like an entire species, the world, plant life, you know.
Yeah.
Is Avatar a monster movie?
Yes.
Wait, that was going to
be my next one.
The Happening.
Stop. Okay, fine. You know what? All monster movies, everything's a monster movie. We're all monsters.
There's that one movie, District 13. District
9?
That is not a monster movie.
District 9 is not a monster movie.
Not a monster movie at all.
Wait, District 13 is a thing? What is that?
District 9?
I don't know.
Oh, District 9. Yeah,
I just started throwing out.
Sorry. District 9 is not a monster movie. It is a movie about a guy who gets turned into an alien and then has to basically run away from the United States government and integrate into this.
There is like an invasion of sorts, but it's like it's not about the invasion whatsoever. Like the invasion's not really happening. It just exists in the backdrop. Right?
I only saw that movie very briefly as a child, and it traumatized me. So
it's traumatizing. That's a scary movie for real.
It's a fantastically done movie though.
Yeah.
What about Arrival?
Sure. Arrival? Oh.
Yes.
Hey, LJ. What about LJ?
I mean, but the aliens in Arrival, they don't... Wait, has everybody seen Arrival here?
Just go ahead.
It's so good.
It is really good. The aliens don't really kill anybody, though.
They don't, right? But it's the threat and it's how everyone responds with it, right? So I think I agree with you. I don't think it's a monster movie, but I think
it focuses too much on Amy Adams' character too, because it really intertwines with like
her personal life.
The threat is big in the sense that it exists, but it's like a threat that only like people are manifesting, and it's all in the backdrop. It's not actually the point of the film whatsoever. And so
Right,
yeah,
I
I
think
don't
if it was
think it
something
is, right?
more like
The reason I brought it up is because it seems almost like it's close. I think that's important, so we know where the line is, right?
Yeah.
what's that one alien movie? God, it was from the early
Great film.
2000s. What?
Great film. Yeah.
Okay. It has some really famous. I gotta stop cursing. It has some really famous actor in it.
Described every movie ever.
Yeah, but it's like really old, and it was like one of the first things that he ever did, and it's got that really Signs
with
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's by M. Night Shyamalan.
Right.
Yeah.
So, monster movie.
I haven't seen that movie.
So here's the thing. Okay, we're going in circles a bit because ultimately,
right? Because I think
I think
it borderlines it, just like Arrival.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's borderline, and that's why they have a subcategory of monster movies called invasion movies.
Yeah.
So, because then you could sit there and say, whatchamacallit, what's that movie with Will Smith? They made
I Am Legend.
No, not that. No, it was with aliens. It's like in the 90s.
Independence Day.
Independence Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's a monster movie, even though it technically should be, but I don't think it is.
Wait.
Oh no.
Wait. No, never mind. I'm not going to say that point.
No, you should. You should.
I was about to say it's Men in Black, but then I remembered that it follows Will Smith's character too much. Like
it's
sure.
It's gotta have.
So here's
I feel like one of the main characters has to be the monster in order for it to be a monster movie.
Here's the thing. Cloverfield doesn't follow that formula, but it is in fact a monster movie because Cloverfield is from the perspective the entire time of the main characters through like a found footage format. They're literally just filming, and they don't ever see, I think you only see the monster's legs actually, but you do see like little creatures that the monster spawns or whatever, like little crawly things. You see that. But like, oh god, terrifying. But like, the thing is like the reason why Cloverfield is still a monster movie, despite that, is because the threat that is occurring is happening around them. So buildings are collapsing around them. They're like getting worried about suffocating from like smoke and dust and like weird.
But is that the monster itself?
Yes, the monster is causing it, right? And it's happening throughout the entire film. The monster is always present. Just it's not the physical obstacle.
It's the same for like when Kong is in New York
City,
very smashing buildings.
Except
he's causing.
Exactly. So picture that, right? But instead of us having scenes where we're focusing on Kong, like in Kong or Godzilla versus Kong, right? It's just the main characters the whole time. We never break that perspective. It's
almost like if we watch Godzilla versus Kong, but
it was
instead
just
of following Kong for 6 days, we followed like a civilian.
100%. It's a group of civilians, and it's actually interesting. It's actually well done, like unlike that. But yeah. But
I'm curious.
It can't not be a monster movie because the monster that's there it's a kaiju. It's all there, right? That's my TED Talk. So.
I'm curious with this newfound, like describing a perspective and how like it affects people. Do disaster movies?
I feel like disaster movies are like their own genre.
Yeah, they are disaster movies. Yeah, I mean, because they're not actually called disaster movies, right? It's a name given to them, right?
Right, because
monster movies, right?
I distinctly remember watching Volcano and then being terrified that a volcano was going to come out of my sewer, and I will fight anybody who says that Dante's Peak is better. I will lay my life down for Volcano.
It's better.
It's not.
I'm just kidding. We talked about this a long time ago. You're fine.
I don't even remember that conversation.
It was a long time ago.
I guess the segue, now that we have kind of a rough definition of what a monster movie is, let's just talk about some of our favorites, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so Cloverfield's one of my favorites. The reason being mostly what all described, how it really shifts the common perception of what a monster movie was. Granted, a lot more better ones have come out since then that have really tweaked with that, hence why it's so hard to define it now. Excuse my language, whoever's editing this, my bad. But it's everyone else's fault, so not mine. Anyway, so
mostly mine.
You know, it really shifted that back then. I think that came out in like 2009.
I think.
Yeah,
2008 or 9.
It's old. It's old, and like but it really brought something new to the table, and I loved the way they did the found footage stuff. A lot of people didn't like it because it made them motion sick. If you get motion sickness, maybe don't watch it, but it's so good.
Yeah. I feel like Cloverfield is one of the few movies that uses found footage correctly. Like,
yeah,
I'll throw in another movie that uses the found footage. What's that movie with the 3 kids that are like superheroes?
Oh, Super 8. No, wait. Oh, you're talking about Chronicle. I love that movie too. Yeah. Anyway,
it's good, but I feel like the
Super 8 is really good as well.
Super 8 is Super 8 a monster movie? Yeah, it is. Right? Yeah. No,
I haven't seen it.
Because isn't there? No, because that would be E.T. is a monster movie. Never mind. So
exactly.
Catch that. Yeah.
But what was I about to say? That reminded me of Chronicle. It doesn't use the found. I feel like it was just kind of there to be there because they were like, we don't have that much equipment, so you know. But I feel like it could have been shot regularly and it would have been the same movie.
100%, yeah. And I think the same thing for Cloverfield as well. But the thing is I think that through the perspective they were able to explore a really cool concept that I feel like a lot of movies, like, you know, it's the point of filmmaking, right? Yeah. It's like they were able to, you know, at the time when Cloverfield came out, YouTube was like a big thing, but it wasn't as big as it is now, and they were trying to like cater to that new concept of like everyone's on their phones, everyone's recording, what would happen if an actual disaster like this happened in a city and everyone had cell phones? What would it look like? This is what it looked like. Sorry, go ahead.
Sophie, do you have what did you have to add?
Yeah, I'm having a revelation. Are we gonna consider, like, I'm finally going to get to talk about my YouTube ARGs. Are we going to consider those monster movies? I know that they're technically not movies, but like Marble Hornets focuses on a group of kids who are recording this event that is occurring like around them and affecting people around them. So like technically,
depends. Is the event caused by a creature or an entity, or is it just an event?
Yeah.
Okay, then
no, it's caused by a creature.
Then I think maybe, yeah. I don't know enough about it to dispute it, but I think maybe, yeah. Like good chance.
I keep telling you every time to watch Marble Hornets.
Speaking of monster,
we were just talking about
Trevor, movies that had like cool movies that had games, I guess. I watched Monsters vs. Aliens last week, and that movie.
Seth Rogen, my man.
Yo, he's playing a blob. That's fun. I don't think that counts though, because it's more for like there's a central character. It's more focused on the like that doesn't count as a monster movie. I just wanted to throw it in there. It's a very good movie. It's kind of dumb. It's like that stupid 2009 kids humor, but it was fun. I watched that.
Cut this part
out. But while I think about my favorite monster movie, Amon, you have a favorite monster movie that you can think of off the top, or?
I got a lot of. I really liked. I really just don't like any plot. Like you say monster movie, I just better see monsters in movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the best one that you've seen then? That
Like Godzilla, King of Monsters or something. I think that's what it was called. The second
which
one.
can you give me a year for that?
He's
Or was that
fighting-
more recent? Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, 2018.
I don't think I
don't
saw
know
that.
if you've seen it, but there's about to be. It's not even really a spoiler. I'm just gonna
I
tell
don't
you.
give a go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
He fights a 3-headed dragon that can not only regenerate
Oh,
itself,
King
but it shoots,
Ghidorah.
it shoots
Yeah.
fire lightning. When I saw and like seeing that in the movie theater, and like they make all the sounds from like real animal like sounds out in the wild, and they just go into an effects studio and they just make these cool sounds. And like I really feel like that's the best monster movie, like new age monster movie, because it really has really just no plot. It's really just a bunch of monsters, and they fight, and the effects look amazing. And like there's like I really got more attached to the monsters than any speaking human role in that entire movie. Like I know that the girl from Stranger Things was in there,
Yeah.
and like that was supposed to like be like what drove people in, because they're like, yeah, she just got off Stranger Things, now she's in our movie. But like if you pay attention to her, if you take out all the monster parts of that movie and pay attention to the plot, you're like, oh my goodness, because the one thing I'll say my one problem with monster movies is that they oftentimes expect you to not think about anything logically and just kind of like exploit it away because it looked cool. Like not like anything physics wise, but just plot wise. Like
willing suspension of disbelief.
yes, like but they do it, they just force it. Like they make these devices kind of like useless in a way. Like in the last movie, without spoiling anything, like in Kong versus Godzilla, basically the B plot works towards something that, in my opinion, didn't even really matter towards the end. Like it kind of just filled time. Like it just filled time. I would have much rather have had them just have, and I know you can't just have a whole movie worth of monsters boxing.
You can.
not a good not yet, at least. Like hopefully one day.
See,
we're like,
that's what
it's really hard to pull that off.
That's what the director said. He was like, yo, the next movies, I feel like we can cut more of the human scenes out. Just straight monsters for 2 hours.
There's this TV show called Primal, and it has no dialogue at all, and it's about like this it's like based in this time period where cavemen and dinosaurs live together, and there's no dialogue, and it's just like it like won a bunch of awards.
So it's just like
storytelling.
the first 30 minutes of 2001: A Space Odyssey, just for like a whole TV series, basically.
It was cool. The animation's really cool.
Jumping around and like.
Yeah, he like fights. He like it was insane. But like, I would much rather have them actually work on the actual monsters and the arcs that they're going through themselves. And if they're not going to work on that, then I just want to see them fight. So that's why like that one comes to mind. I can't really think of any like other than Godzilla. Like nothing's coming to the like top of my head when you say like monster movie, because now we've kind of just redefined the whole genre of monster movie today.
Yeah. So.
But Sophie, what about you? I know you got.
Oh, I was gonna throw out Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah.
Why?
I probably might.
I just grew up with it, and like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm scared of the ocean. I'm scared of water.
Okay. Yo, I'm glad I didn't watch when I was a kid. Because
me too.
I did, and I'm terrified of sharks in the ocean now. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, no. My grandfather showed me that when I was like 3.
Yep.
My dad. Shout out my dad. I know you're listening. When my brother was a baby, my dad had on Jurassic Park, and it was the scene where the T-Rex went to eat the goat, and my brother was like, "Ooh, goat!" and my dad was like, "Oh no!" and like scrambled to turn their TV off. I don't know why that.
But
that's funny.
Side tangent. I'm glad I didn't watch Jaws when I was a kid, because I remember when I was a kid. This is when I was like 4. My brain couldn't register that people couldn't breathe underwater. So my first time ever going to a pool, like I thought I could, I didn't know like you couldn't breathe underwater. So I jumped in like cannonball, like the movies. And then I got in there and I was like, oh. I can't breathe.
So I don't have that. I can't relate to that, but I do have a weird similar story. So I watched Jaws, got terrified of sharks, but I was so young when I saw it, I didn't know that sharks exist in the ocean. And
Were you also scared of pools? Because
that's what I was about to say, is that so I didn't know that. And I started becoming terrified of pools because I was just like, a shark's gonna get me, especially swimming in like a dark pool. Oh my God. Oh.
okay, when I was a kid, this is my father's favorite story about me. But he came into the bath when I was taking a bathtub, or he came into the bathroom while I was taking a bath, and I was curled up in the corner of the bathtub. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm scared." And he was like, "What are you scared of?" And I was like, "Shark noses and octopus tentacles." So I thought that come up out the drain.
That's terrifying.
And I don't remember what movie this was I watched because I was so little, but I remember I like snuck into my parents' bedroom like late at night, like when their TV was still on. And it was this, I think it was a monster movie. I just can't remember the name of it. But essentially this lady was being hunted down by some paranormal figure. And like basically she's like taking a bath or in the bathtub for some reason. And the paranormal figure like held her mouth underwater, and she like the girl started freaking out, and I guess she like undid the drain, and but before all the water drained out, she like just died. And I remember I always got so scared. Like I really feel like not to go off on a tangent, but like I feel like we rate movies like, at least for like viewing wise, like really stupid. Like there's some things that like little kids can handle, but there's some things that little kids shouldn't like just can't handle. Like swearing, I feel like swearing isn't as bad as everybody says it is. Like because when you're a little kid, at least to me, anytime someone bleeps something, it's like, I wonder what they're bleeping. And then the second you learn the swear word, you're like, oh, that's what they're bleeping.
Yeah, it's like cursing isn't okay, but you know, we can show you this graphic violence or people dying and like, oh, this is a side tangent. The scene from Spider-Man 2 in the hospital with Doc Ock, and he's just killing all the doctors randomly.
Yeah, like
that
what?
Shit, as a kid, I can't but
and they advertise it as like
PG-13.
Like yeah, like oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I would like to throw out that while discussing my childhood fears, I did remember another potential monster movie that I don't remember the name of, but it was about these giant ants, and they would take people and put them into the like big ass ant holes. And I remember watching that with my grandfather. And
is Monster House a monster movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say it's them dealing with the house basically. Like we don't know about like the kids and
it's small scale though, right? Like, you know, okay, whatever, sure, why not?
Yeah, but it has the word monster
in it, so
slaps. That movie fucked
that
me
monster
up.
movie is a good movie.
I'm gonna look up that Ants movie because I genuinely.
Yeah, I feel like I know what you're talking about because that sounds very familiar, but I can't think of what it's called.
Oh my god, it's from 1954. Why was my grandfather showing me this?
That's probably was watching.
It's called Them! Exclamation point. It's in black and white.
I can't think of.
Oh. Sorry, I looked at the trailer.
You saw the ant holes again?
No, I saw the like big ass ant, and
the main monster movie that I remember the most watching when I was a kid though is probably like, of course, the Peter Jackson King Kong.
Okay, I was actually going to bring that up. I was waiting for
the 2000s one.
Yeah, the 2005 one.
Yeah, with Jack Black.
Yeah. I think that's the main one that I remember. I don't know, because monster movies, like, they weren't, I mean, superhero movies and kind of like stuff like that kind of took that genre over. So Like there weren't a lot of big budget monster movies in like the mid 2000s, right?
And that was like a blockbuster at the time.
It was
It's
really
a big
good.
deal. No. So that movie got a lot of. I feel like it didn't do. I was really young when that came out, so I wasn't like in tune with what people thought about movies then. But from what I've noticed, a lot of people all over that film. Like, but I remember loving it, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Like I feel like. I don't know. I feel like it did everything. Like I know it didn't just focus 100% on the action, like Iman was wanting, but like would ideally want. Oh wait, hold on.
I want my monsters to fight.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it did. The story and plot and the characterization in that was still really.
Oh yeah, good. King Kong was amazing. It was so well done because like they actually made you. It did what Skull Island didn't, which is like Skull Island was just like American assholes coming on to this giant monkey's island, and I mean, sorry, messing stuff up. Sorry for whoever I said this, but and King Kong, it's like you have no idea what the character is even getting into until they get there, and then you think Kong's the monster, and then you realize he's just protecting the people on the island, and there are a bunch of monsters on here, and
it's so cool. It was it was just really well done. I think I just really like the setting too. It just felt very different. I really like that. Just to add one quick thing, because I've been wanting to do this joke for a while. Censoring is bull. No.
What was I about
It'll
to
be
say?
funny in post because I have to bleep it.
Yeah, but what was I about to say? Like, see, and I'm cursing again. Back to Peter Jackson, King Kong. I haven't seen that movie since I was like 8.
Mm-hmm.
I've been meaning to rewatch it, but then again, like it's 3 hours, and I don't feel. Sometimes I don't feel like it, you know. So maybe I'll get back to it eventually. I don't know.
That one's 3 hours.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people like looking back on it, like because if you look it up, I'm pretty sure like either critically it didn't do that well, or maybe it's just like viewers later. But it was a really long movie for the time, and a lot of people really.
I just feel like I don't remember it being 3 hours long, but maybe it's because I was young.
It was one of those movies like that. This is how I saw it when I was a kid. Like you cut on TNT on cable, and it's just those movies on. It's just on, yeah. That's the main reason that I remember it, probably. But like, if I'm correct, when I watched it, it's like the first hour or so is them like just trying to it's just them trying to get to the island.
You don't even see Kong until like 50 minutes into the movie, and then they spend a whole hour and a half fighting Kong. And as a little kid, I think that's when the movie's gonna end. Like they're just gonna leave and not come back, and then they just cap him.
There's a lot of God, that movie had a whole thing going on, huh? Like they spent so much time on the island dealing with the creatures, and then Kong, and then now we're in New York. Now now we're in space. Now we're climbing Mount Everest. Now we are Mount Everest.
Side note, King Kong 2005 had a really slapping video game that I remember.
Yeah, it did. I love that game. I'm glad someone else. I'm sorry.
That game. That game smacked, dude. That game was
so
fun.
good. You're the only other person I met that played that game. I love that.
Wait, speaking of this is related. I used to have a Godzilla game, and it was Godzilla. It was like some Monster Mash or something on PlayStation 2, and it was so fun. Like it was just Godzilla, like Mecha Godzilla.
Like, each other up?
Yeah, it was basically like they threw you in a city, and you just had to fight each other, and it was so fun.
I vaguely have memories of that game.
That game was so fun.
Quick side note: Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
We're getting
it definitely is. It is, especially when that giant
Stay Puft like Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say especially that. Yeah,
I love Ghostbusters.
I was just thinking about it. So
it definitely, I think, it is. I think people already.
I feel like it's more of it's kind of like it's both like a parody and a monster movie at the same time.
I think it takes the monster movie genre like with a little bit of like
like it takes elements from like horror stuff and monster movie stuff and kind of
Yeah.
fuses it all together, basically. So, yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I agree.
What other monster movies have I?
Cowboys versus Indians, or no, that's not it.
Cowboys versus
no, that is the movie.
Aliens.
No, Cowboys versus Aliens. That's what it is. Sorry
Directed
about that.
by John Favreau, Craig, and Harrison Ford.
Yeah, those three. Mm-hmm.
I think
great film.
Only reason I remember that movie is because I think I begged my mom to rent it on Blu-ray. And I remember watching, I was like, this is not that good. And I fell asleep.
I feel like I saw that movie by accident. I had no idea what the title was. And so like it presented it as being one of those typical like Westerns, like where, they're just slaughtering, yeah. And then it just became Aliens. I was really confused. I was like, oh God. But I don't remember hating it though. But,
yeah, I don't remember hating it. Like it was just okay.
You fell asleep.
If we want to take a brief pause, I have to pee really bad.
Oh, go ahead.
I also may have to leave because I have to take an exam.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, man. Go take your exam.
But thank you for allowing me to come on the podcast.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no problem,
You
bro.
had some very good insight.
Yeah,
I don't know how to stop recording on the little.
I'm recording.
You don't have to.
Oh.
I wonder if I
just close the link, you'll be fine. It'll probably.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem.
Goodbye.
I guess I don't know. Where do you guys think like monster movies can go in the future? I guess. I mean,
I'm hoping that as like graphics and CGI get better, we're only going to get bigger and badder beasties. And hopefully like be able to see more brawling and fighting and like more destruction.
You know what we really need? Godzilla, the 4D movie.
So here's what they should really do with the Godzilla franchise. I got a whole I hope the producers and directors are listening, because I got a whole plan.
Of course they're listening. You already know HBO Max. We're sponsored unofficially.
So here's the thing: they should just follow the Friday the 13th formula, right? So like, six or seven like different versus ones, and then go to space, then go to like somewhere else beyond space, whatever's bigger than that.
Well, he dies and then he gets revived, and then
Yeah,
that's what they got to do with Godzilla, right? Like
and then we focus on Godzilla's mom for a little bit.
Yeah, we can get like a really good like perspective on like the trials of motherhood for kaiju, right?
I just would like to say I hate 4D.
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 Like
yeah.
Oh, okay, like 4-dimensional. Like, yeah.
You mean where they like spray water on you?
Know that.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever? There's
a Shrek like, 4D at the Universal. Yeah, there's a whole like little movie thing, and it's like you sit in a theater, and like say Donkey on screen like spits, they shoot water on you, and like the chairs move and stuff like that. Yeah,
there's something like that at Disney, but it's for A Bug's Life. And I also went to that when I was a kid, and there's a scene where like some spiders, like it looks like they're coming down from the ceiling. I lost my mind. It did not go well for me.
No.
But like it should move.
Beyond the horrifying experience of it, like what's your other opinion like about it? Is it effective? Because I guess the concept is to immerse you more, right?
It's just kind of a gimmick, basically.
I think it could be, but I think everybody just wants to use it to be gimmicky, and I don't think anybody's gonna like take it seriously, because I think it was like a fad, like 3D, where like everybody wanted to make a 3D version.
What you're saying is James Cameron needs to make a 4D monster movie.
I'm surprised.
Right.
Avatar 2 4D experience.
That's what
I really want them to like
just
remake, like I want an earthquake movie where the theater it's on one of those pirate ship carnival rides that like goes around in a circle and like flips. Yeah,
I didn't know what you
deal
were
with.
saying. I heard you start gesturing, and so I just imagined like, okay, someone just burst in your room and just start shaking you. There's your 4D experience.
Oh yeah, that one too.
4D TV, where we have a guy come to your house and physically push you outside.
Yeah,
What would
I'm
Fight Club be like as a 4D
right?
experience?
I'm gonna watch Fight Club in 4D, where some man comes over and punches me in the face.
Or that new movie, Nobody or whatever.
We can call him Saul Goodman. You know.
Yeah, it's just crappy. Anyway, sorry, we won't talk about that. But yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't like I haven't been to Universal in like 10 years. So
I've never been.
It's pretty fun. It was fun when I went there in 2011 during WrestleMania weekend. That was insane. But yeah, it was fun. That's another topic for another day though. I'm surprised. I don't know if there is. I'm surprised there's not like a Godzilla ride or something. Like, I think that would be kind of cool.
I'm honestly.
I think there is actually.
That needs to be
because I think there's a King Kong ride.
Okay. I think that's a really good idea. I think you're onto something there. So Disney made that whole not Disney, Nintendo made that whole Nintendo park thing, where it's like super immersive, like all the different franchises. I know that's basically Universal Studios too, but they need to do that just for like King Kong, Galaxy, like Godzilla, etc., and just have it be like a city block where they fully simulate like what it'd be like to be on environment, like buildings collapsing and everything.
Skull Island, Reign of Kong is a trackless dark ride located in Islands of Adventure at a theme park in Universal.
Holy.
They consulted Peter Jackson during the initial phase.
Oh wait, I forgot he directed that movie.
Universal.
So the first question is the King Kong ride scary?
What was the answer? Was it scary?
To be honest, the giant Kong you come face to face with at the end is enough to put fear even in the bravest adult.
I remember this is actually, I feel like this is a good segue. Like monster movies, they give way for like good theme park rides, I feel like.
100%. Because monster movies are all about, and I think that's something we should have added to our bullet point, Sophie. Yeah. Spectacle.
Yeah.
They all have to. It can come in whatever form, much like the scale of the threat, right? But spectacle is so damn important in those movies.
Right. I want it to be showy.
Yeah. It needs to just be something like, so Cloverfield, its spectacle was literally just all the stuff like collapsing. And the reason I'm bringing that up isn't because I love it, but because I think that one's a very subdued monster movie, but it still has crazy spectacular spectacle going on right throughout it.
Subway scene.
Yeah, dude, that movie,
maybe that's what I'll watch tonight.
I recommend.
I think it's on
Honestly,
Netflix.
Is it?
See, what
I would like to throw out, while we're briefly talking about roller coasters, not that we are anymore. Rest in peace, the Jaws ride. I'm very sad that
I never got to ride that either.
The sharks kept catching fire in the water.
I thought you were about to say the sharks kept eating people. I was like, oh.
No. They're just all mechanical sharks. And like the one at the end is like supposed to catch on fire, but it started catching on fire like very intensely. So people started getting hurt. So they finally closed it down. But the only roller coasters that I probably would have ridden on.
I think my parents actually rode that back in 2011. And I was too scared to ride because like the way it's like you're kind of like
you're in a boat.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I probably would not have gotten on it. Yeah, you're on like a tracked boat and it takes you through Amity and like you just like there are mechanical sharks that like come up at the boat and your like tour guide has a gun.
Just to clarify, because in my mind I'm picturing on like tracks and there's water. There's no water, right?
There is water.
Yeah, there's water.
That's terrifying. That's my worst fear.
Yeah, there's like deep water. Like you can dive in that. Yeah.
Why?
That's kind of like, that reminds me of, there's like a Jurassic Park ride at Universal where you're like in a little boat and there's like a big ass T-Rex like way above.
No.
And I remember being a kid.
Oh yeah, and that's the drop.
Yeah, that's the drop. And I remember being a kid and putting my hand up and being scared that my was gonna get ripped off. But yeah, like they make great theme park rides. I feel like we kind of need
More?
like, yeah, we need more, but like I feel like Monster, yeah, I remember that.
Click, yeah. Oh, I can't focus on you. Sorry.
I remember
Start
that
speaking.
shit.
Speak, Sophie.
Hello,
I want-
me, your
Oh, I
friend
can
and
double
pal.
click. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah, that is, yeah. I feel like we need like, I remember Carowinds used to be affiliated with Nickelodeon. They had Reptar, you know.
That was I missed that so much because the one ride was Danny Phantom.
It's a monster TV
Yo, because Reptar, I mean, basically all the Reptar segments in Rugrats are like a play on Godzilla, basically.
Yeah.
Basically the whole toy line. Every time they play with him, he's like breaking some or terrorizing somebody. So yeah, Rugrats in
I
the
used to have like this Reptar.
This is the full
Stuffed
map of the
animal.
Jaws park.
Okay, yeah. You know what would make that a million times worse? And I'm sure that park is like open like at night, right? Like 7 p.m., 6 p.m., stuff like that, right? Normally. So
Like riding that ride at night.
night would be
I'm sure.
horrifying.
I would
Yeah.
not.
That would be traumatizing, honestly.
The only thing that I have this. I don't do roller coasters. I just don't like them. I don't know why
I'm
you
with
would put
you.
yourself in an anxiety producing environment. That was very
Mhm.
hard to say. So what I used to do as a kid was I would just watch like the people who bring their camcorders onto roller coasters with them.
Mm.
So like anything that I know about like riding a roller coaster is all from those like POV like recordings.
Okay, yeah. I'm also terrified of riding roller coasters for the same reason, but I've definitely ever ridden them just because of peer pressure, and it's about as
Oh.
horrible as you think it would be. It's
It's-
definitely horrifying. I still would do it again though, because
I've done two.
Yeah.
I've done two. I did
Okay.
the wooden one in Carowinds, and that was my first ever roller coaster experience. And there was a spider on my hand, like right at the big drop. So I have never gotten on another roller coaster ever because of that. And then I also did Splash Mountain in Disney World, but the entire like time I kept seeing like the emergency exits, and I was like, "Hey, I could just get off the boat like right now. I get it. I understand the point of it." Yeah, it was the worst.
I know we're ADD brain, right? So I was at Carowinds once, and you know the ride at Carowinds, it's like where they like strap you in and you're like standing, right?
yeah.
It's like a bar thing.
The Nighthawk.
I think that's what it is, right? And
Yeah.
you're like basically going through it while hanging like off of it.
Yeah,
right?
it was like the first laying down upside down coaster on the East Coast.
Right.
I know a
So
lot about roller coasters. I'm
when
so
you
sorry.
just to triple check, like when you're starting, you're standing up and it's
Right.
you're
Yeah.
suspended. Cool. Whenever I went on that as a little kid, the person didn't actually put the rail all the way down and it started going and I started falling out before I was getting over, and my friend next to me noticed and started screaming and ended up locking it for the guy. And I never he saved my life. Like not because they didn't even emergency stop because I guess they just didn't hear him.
That's why I don't
panic.
with roller coaster. I rode.
Right.
I think I rode the Intimidator like 2 years ago, and of course, peer pressure. You know, my high school friends, they were
It's the
like,
worst.
"Come on, bro. Come on, you're not you, bro. Come on, ride the ride."
I am.
They
Thank
told
you.
me peer pressure would come in the form of drugs and alcohol. It only came in the form of traumatic roller coaster experiences.
And I got on. I remember feeling like my heart was gonna come out of my chest as I was going up, and then the drop. And that's a roller. Why is there not a roller coaster monster movie? Like that's.
I'm sure there is.
Right?
Oh, is a Final Destination doesn't count as a monster movie.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
We need
you
Final
can't.
Destination just only in an amusement park, just for a.
They have that. Oh
do.
no, it was just that one scene. Never mind.
They need it in they get locked in an amusement park overnight. Oh, New Line Cinema. I don't know if you're a thing anymore, but Hit me up. I got an idea.
Can we take a brief tangent on the Final Destination movies?
Sure.
Oh, why not?
Oh, I thought you said no.
no.
Yeah, like what?
Those movies, for somebody with anxiety, those movies, oh God.
To this day, when driving next to 18-wheelers, I scream. When I drive behind log trucks, I just want to cry. Horrifying. Very effective. Great job.
Right. Like they get the point across. I will just say that like the further you go into that, the worse it gets. Where like it's like this gimmick, and then it feels like it's. Well, I mean, it's always been a gimmick, right? But like, it's like less horror-y and more like comedy, which is like fine. But I think that it just kind of like lost its pizzazz the further we got into that, because like, obviously, like in the first one, like death is like really trying to come back and kill them, like almost every instance. But like in like the later ones, you can see like opportunities where it like is not taking the quickest course of action.
Sure. I think that's like a classic example of like something that clearly should have stopped a long time ago. And like
kind of like Scream.
You just lose the message. Yeah. Though Scream kind of always had like some parody elements to it, right?
But I think that it loses its effectiveness. Like as you keep
once
going.
they got to like, I think they're doing a reboot or something.
Yeah, I mean they've done them like 3 times, right? I think now they even had a TV show.
Speaking of things that have gone on for too long, are we counting like Jason, Freddy, Chucky? Those
they're not.
Monster
They're definitely
movies?
not monster movies because again, much like Final Destination, they focus on like a small segment of people. They're like something. For sure, slasher horror, right?
I just hesitate on calling them slashers.
Sure.
Jason, I can see,
term, right? But go ahead.
Like Jason, I could see as a slasher, but like Freddy, no.
It's like psychological horror, right? Serial killer like stuff.
Those are the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. The earlier ones.
Very good.
I've actually never been into those movies, even though I've seen a lot of them.
Damn.
Unwillingly, but
I just distinctly remember the second one is very good. The second, like the second one is very good at like this, like Freddy manipulating like the character's worst fears, like actually, instead of like just like focusing on this like weird dreamscape torture porn.
I think what makes it like, I don't know, because at least when I was a kid, like that was the like scared me, but like as you look at it like as a film, there's a lot of craft that goes into like the effects and the makeup and just like all that stuff. So it's really interesting, especially in the dream sequences. Like some of like stuff they were doing for it to be the 80s is kind of crazy. So.
The scene with young Johnny Depp in his bed when all the blood goes up, it's gonna be something that like I will always remember.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we should wrap, probably.
Okay.
Any last thoughts?
Like freestyle or
I guess we can well, everybody who watches the show, I know we have millions of fans across the seas, you know. We know we have a segment where we just recommend something. Anything, it doesn't matter what it is, just recommend something. So this time I usually pass it off. I've been playing Resident Evil 2, the remake video game, and it's pretty fun. I recommend it. I think it's on sale for like $20. It's on PlayStation 4. So it's fun. If you want to get spooked, it's pretty fun. That's what I'll recommend.
Sophie?
I'm going to recommend, if you're looking for content, I am going to recommend sitting down and watching Marble Hornets. because I will take any second that I can to plug good YouTube ARGs. Even if you don't feel like sitting down to watch the entire series, I would even just recommend like there's some pretty good synopsis videos out there, and it is like a long running masterpiece from early YouTube.
I added it to my list. I'll watch it.
Cool. All right.
Don't watch the movie. Let me
Don't
just
watch
put
the-
that one right there. Do not watch the movie. One of the guys who worked on the YouTube ARG helped with the movie, but the movie sucks ass. It's terrible.
I'll add it on the list.
I mean, I've already recommended it, but yeah, I recommend watching Cloverfield because I'm not able to think about anything else right now. So, like, yeah, if you like monster films, which is something we've been talking about, so I'd be really surprised if you didn't, and you watched to this point. If you like interesting found footage like films, which honestly is the reason why I watched Cloverfield, because I'm a big fan of found footage stuff. If you like movies that just take a typical genre and spin it on its head and do something interesting and neat with it, if you like character focused things that's not about necessarily character development, but really interesting portrayals of a slice of life, a little moment that is also horrific and traumatizing and scary, watch Cloverfield. I'm not getting sponsored to say this.
It's on HBO Max.
I'm watching that tonight.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, this has been episode 6 of the 1080C podcast. As per usual, it's a pleasure being on this show, and for many more episodes. Until next time, adios.
Thanks for having me, guys.